Good evening, you're watching brass-tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. Taking the vote chori allegations forward, leader of the opposition Rahul Gandhi today appealed directly to the youth of the country, the Gen Z. He says it's the Gen Z and the students who will save the constitution, who will protect democracy, and who will stop the vote theft of vote chori. The move has sparked a fierce backlash, particularly with the violent, almost anarchic protests and scenes that we saw playing itself out in India's neighborhood in Nepal just a few days ago. We saw this, in Bangladesh last year. We saw this in Sri Lanka a couple of years ago. Again, youth-led protests. All democracies, all democratic countries where the rule of the mob, the rule of the street eventually prevailed. And that is still fresh in everyone's minds. No one expects something similar to happen in India. There are a multitude of reasons for that. I will go to that in 1 second. But the BJP has quickly seized upon this as a political opportunity that Rahul Gandhi has presented to them once again. They have questioned Rahul Gandhi's intentions, saying that how can a democratically elected leader, and he is a senior figure in the opposition, he is the leader of the opposition, how can he, openly vouch for the scenes of anarchy that we saw in Nepal or in Dhaka for that matter, and actually in a sense chide and sort of encourage the young in India, the youth in India, to go that same route like their brethren in Kathmandu or in Dhaka. But I want to first play out some of the reactions.
Whatever the narratives Pakistan creates, same narrative is propounded by Rahul Gandhi and his company here in India. So we have realized in last so many years, whatever Rahul Gandhi and his left group speaks about and tries to create a narrative in India, same thing is found to be used by the anti-Indian groups and the elements in Pakistan. So that similarity we have found over the years.
Rahul Gandhi should know that the Gen Z of India threw out a corrupt dynastic party in 2014. The Gen Z of India has already spoken in India. That is why repeatedly the Congress party, its nepotistic dynasty, its corrupt family has been rejected by Gen Z, because Gen Z wants politicians who will work for them.
Okay, whatever said and done, no one wants the kind of anarchic scenes that we saw in Kathmandu or in Dhaka. But leave that aside. What unfolded in Nepal, why it simply possibly cannot happen in India, there are a multitude of reasons. I want to go into a few of them. Number one, India has a hugely diverse population. It is hardly homogeneous like, Nepal is or even Bangladesh is to a great extent. We've got a hugely diverse population. The religion, the culture, the language, the food habits, everything changes from state to state, and it makes it difficult for one issue, whether it is corruption or nepotism or anything, to resonate nationally, as was the case in Nepal. Nepal, at the end of the day, is a small country with a minuscule population compared to the population of India. Grievances are often directed towards state authorities or municipal authorities, not so much against the union, because there are other vents where people can sort of vent out their frustration, because we have a multitude of governments. They're a multi-layered security and administrative machinery which will not allow protests to escalate onto a national level. The last time we saw nationwide protests, as it were, and that again was largely confined to northern India, was the Mandal protest in the immediate aftermath of the Mandal Commission report being submitted. The student protest, that was the last massive national level protest that we saw. It's very unlikely that for youth issues unite all demographics. Yes, India is a young country. A large majority of our population is under 35. But there again, different youths in different parts of the country have different issues that resonate with them. There is no one singular thread that resonates with all young people across the country. Also, in India, you have avenues, you have vents, you have these pressure cooker valves, as it were, where you can express your dissent, you can express your frustration through the vote once in 5 years. It also reduces the need to hit the streets. And lastly, there are political alternatives as well, which, you've got left-wing parties, you've got right-wing parties, you've got parties that are in the middle. So there's a plethora of political choices that sort of puts paid to any kind of revolutionary action that the students will want to take. So those are some of the reasons why the kind of Gen Z protests that we saw in Nepal or in the student protests that we saw in Bangladesh are unlikely to happen in India. But nonetheless, it's become a political slugfest now between the Congress and the BJP. I want to go across to a political face-off. RP Singh, national spokesperson of the BJP, is joining us. Salman Soz is national spokesperson of the Congress party. Salman, let me start with you. You know, Rahul Gandhi is saying, and I quote from his tweet, "The youth of our nation will save the constitution. The Gen Z and students will protect our democracy. Gen Z of the country will end vote theft. I stand with them." Why should we not believe that this is almost a call to do what, you know, the protests and the violent anarchism that we saw in the streets of Kathmandu a few days ago? Why is this not a call to the young in India to do the same?
First, Zaka, I think, it's so important in our country that we pay a lot more attention to what is happening to the young people in this country, right? Because for a long time now, we've been talking about this ad nauseum endlessly, that our youth do not have the kind of future in front of them that perhaps people like you and I and maybe RP Singh, we had it in our time. We've seen extremely high unemployment rates, extremely low labor participation rates, extremely high youth unemployment rates. What are we doing this for? Who are we fighting for? What is this politics for? This is for the future of this country. And those who are directly affected most by where this country is headed is this next generation. And if we don't make them feel more involved about what is going to be about the future, then how will India do well? India can
Here's
only
the
do
thing,
well
you know, the Gen Z protests in Nepal ostensibly were for two reasons, as I understand it. One was this whole thing about Nepo kids. They had a problem with, you know, the sons and daughters of politicians, you know, going to other countries, partying, holidaying, and they seem to have a different life than the ordinary young kids in Nepal. That was one big sort of resonant issue. And the other issue was corruption. They felt like the political corruption, it was like a, you know, merry-go-round, musical chairs that were happening between three parties essentially, the Nepali Congress, the UML and the Maoists, and essentially they controlled everything, the levers of power, the money, the corruption. In India, on the corruption issue, you heard some BJP folks, you know, in the package that we played, saying that the 2014 election was the definitive election on corruption. Congress got thrown out, BJP got into power. So that question has been addressed. And on the question of nepotism, the Congress or the opposition are hardly anyone to speak about it.
So Zaka, first of all, on corruption, I think if BJP thinks that corruption was finished in 2014, or after they came to power, they just have to, they'll keep saying that the reason they lost so many seats is because people are seeing that their daily lives have become so extremely difficult, and corruption is out of control. Out of control. I think they're out of touch with reality, and they'll see in the next election what happens. In the Bihar election, they'll see what happens. As far as nepotism is concerned, we have to be very honest with each other. Across the political spectrum, bureaucracy, everything, all the well-off people, everybody's children are outside and doing well, etc. But the key difference between us and Nepal is that this is the land of Gandhi. This is the land of non-violence. The Congress party is about non-violence. Our origin is non-violence. Our whole fight against the British was based on non-violence.
Okay.
So when our leader calls on the young people of this country, the Gen Z, to make sure that we don't have the kinds of things that are vote chori, those kinds of things can hurt their future. He's not saying we have to be like Nepal.
RP saying, no, it's not anybody's case. That's what Salman is saying. It's not like Mr. Gandhi was asking for the young people to come out and protest and revolt and, you know, indulge in violence. All he was saying was, okay, so let RP Singh respond to that. He was saying that, look, the problem of youth unemployment, joblessness, this demographic dividend going away and you know, people not being able to get gainful employment is a very serious and resonant issue, just like it was in Nepal, it is in India. So that is the thing that you need to address, and not think that, you know, Rahul Gandhi is actually asking young people to come out and indulge in violence on the streets of this country.
Well, I see Mr. Soz as a very learned person and a person who read and understand subjects well. Please go through the data, Mr. Soz, before this debate ends, or we can meet on another debate also. 52 crore people have been has taken Mudra Yojana loan. Even if I treat that almost 10 crore would have been out of them which were taken loan twice, even then 40 crore people would have taken Mudra Yojana loan. Even if they employ one more, it means 80 crore people have been self-employed through Mudra Yojana loan. I mean, this is a unique scheme which has been offered by Prime Minister Modi ji. I am going through the EPFO data. Please go through the EPFO data. It speaks otherwise of the employment. But the issue is, Dhaka is something else. He says, देश के युवा, देश के students, देश के Gen Z संविधान को बचाने, लोकतंत्र की रक्षा करेंगे और वोट की चोरी को रोकेंगे. संविधान को बचाने के लिए, and he was what he was saying, मेरा काम संविधान बचाना नहीं है. मैं विपक्ष का लेता हूँ. My objective is to oppose the BJP. I'm not here to save the constitution. He said other day, and now he's saying संविधान को बचाने के लिए. The basic thing is, you remember that in some 3 years back, he said he questioned an event London why Europe and US defenders of democracies were oblivious of how a huge chunk of democracy in India has come undone. But the problem is that he can't dethrone NDA or he can't dislodge NDA through vote. So nothing else to create unrest among the people's mind, psychological creative unrest, and that was by saying vote chori, vote chori, vote chori. Fact is, Election Commission answered each and every question, and rather there's a question on them now what the vote chori.
So Salman, you know,
five seconds. He took out the yatra with Tejasvi Yadav in Bihar.
Correct.
On the vote chori.
Yeah.
Thereafter, Tejasvi Yadav said, "Thank you so much. Your vote chori has not helped me. I have to take out another yatra, and minus you, because he knows that it has not stuck to the NDA or the BJP or the government or to the Election Commission."
Okay, so Salman Soz, on the vote chori issue, when Rahul Gandhi goes on and on about Karnataka and Maharashtra, and now of course this whole SIR exercise in Bihar, he did this whole voter adhikar yatra in Bihar, isn't the underlying message that he's trying to sort of sow the seeds of doubt in the electoral process itself? And the electoral process is fundamental. It's the foundation on which democracy is built. If the leader of the opposition is sowing doubts on the integrity of that process, isn't that also something that he should take responsibility for? He's basically undermining democracy.
That is what the BJP may be thinking, Zaka. I know you're not thinking that, because any right-minded person would say that we must ensure that democracy has integrity. Our democracy must have integrity. Unfortunately, the way the Election Commission has been dealing with the opposition for some time now, I think they are, to my mind, they are undermining our electoral process and our democracy. And BJP is basically conniving with them, to my mind, in trying to bring down, they basically taken a hammer to the foundations of our democracy, and we are trying to protect our democracy. And what RP Singh talks about, I think it's very important that we listen to what he says. He basically said that maybe I should have some, I should learn a little bit about data. But I'm a student of economics, so I learn a little bit about data. In their rule, the reason Gen Z should be, basically protesting peacefully against this government is because this government brought them the highest unemployment rate in the last 5 decades. This government has presided over, he talked about Mudra loans. Let me tell you about loans. Your personal savings in this country are nowhere, finished. Highest personal debt in decades. Private investment, without which you cannot create jobs. Please look at the data from 2014 where you are. It's the lowest in 22 years. More than 20 years, actually. So, please do not give us gyan about how your Mudra loans have reshaped the country.
But having said that, Salman, having said that, last quarter we grew at 7.8%, which is the fastest for any major economy in the world.
Yes, let me tell you, Zaka, it's great that you talked about the 7.1%.
7.8.
7.8%. 8%. I'm giving you that to RP Singh ji. The fact of the matter is, the way data has been calculated ever since demonetization happened, they have not changed coefficients. I can't get into technical details. But if they are happy with this kind of growth, which basically leaves the vast majority of this country in difficulty, and a very small sliver, people like, sorry to say, but people like us, we are doing well. If they think that is the country they want, they can have it. But we will
Okay,
not
so
let them
RP
have it,
saying
because
whether
we
it
want
is
a
on
country that takes care of
unemployment,
everybody, especially the young people.
this inequality, even on vote chori, Rahul Gandhi's contention is it's the poorest of poor, the SC, STs,
Yes.
minorities, OBCs,
Yes.
who are the ones who
Yes.
are being shortchanged by the Modi government.
Yes.
RP Singh.
Thank you, sir. Zaka, World Bank says 25 crore people have been brought out of the poverty line.
I'm from the World Bank. Let me tell you. I'm from the
Can I-
World
So,
Bank.
so,
Never
Salman,
interrupt you,
come
sir,
on,
please.
let him finish, please. Yeah, thank you.
I never interpret. You're a learned person. I mean,
Okay.
I respect
Okay.
it for you. Please.
Okay.
So 25 crore people have been brought out of this. This is not my data, the World Bank data. I'm not quoting some Indian government of India data. Coming to, he referred to an issue of election commission. You remember that Loo leaks, Naveen Chawla will go to Loo and leak to Sonia Gandhi ji what's happening in the election commission. Mr. Gopal Swami is on record mentioning it to the President of India. And in spite of mentioning this to President of India, he was made the next election commissioner. But look who's talking about vote chori. You grabbed the complete election commission in your pocket. What Mr. Gill? He was made the minister in the government. What else do you want to know about the election? How the election commission used to run? I mean, election commission was appointed by the Congress president or the prime minister, not by the consensus of the leader of opposition and the one of the minister and the prime minister. I mean, that's how the election commission used to be nominated and picked up. Hold on, Mr. Soos, hold your breath. But fact is that Zaka missed on one more data, which is that the inflation is at all-time low of -2%. It's less than 2%, almost 1.55 if rightly remember, and food inflation is in minus. Mr. Soos, I go and pick up my grocery every month for my household, and I know my pocket is much more safer than what it used to be some 15 years back.
So you have high growth, Salman, and you have low inflation. That is the ideal for any economy. That's the best place to be.
That is the best place to be. But by the way, I'm not from the World Bank, but I've had a long association with the World Bank. And if you read World Bank reports like I have, they'll talk about, the biggest poverty decrease the world has ever seen has come from two countries. That was China and India. And when did it start? It started from just towards the fag end of Atal Bihari Vajpayee's term, went through Dr. Manmohan Singh's time, and continued under Prime Minister Modi. But I want to challenge the BJP. They talk about development in a country where 800 million people are surviving on free food. 800 million people.
Not surviving.
You say that is development?
Not surviving.
Is that development? I'm sorry.
Not surviving.
You and your family may be having a great life, but that is not. I challenge you. Why are you not on free food? Why are 800 million people on free food? Ye Mubarak ho aapko development. This is not the growth we want. We want a growth where we have decent jobs for our young people. You're imperiling the future of the young people of this country, and that is why. That is why.
RP Singh,
Rahul
I'll
Gandhi
give you
has called on
the
young people to
final
defend their
word.
democracy
He's
because
saying,
they're
again,
danger.
disparity, inequality, young people don't have jobs. I wish we could show, I don't know if we have those pictures. Today, the iPhone 17 released in India, in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, wherever they have these stores. I wish we have those pictures to show. The massive queue out there to buy these phones. And these are not cheap phones. These are not phones that, normal people can afford, at least, middle class, lower middle class folks can afford. But the queues outside that store, I'm not saying it's an indication of anything, but I certainly don't see that as an indication of, a dead economy or an economy which is in the doldrums where people don't have money and people are, living hand to mouth. Look at that. There was virtually a quarrel there outside.
Yes.
Because people wanted to get in, and these are people who are going in. And one of our reporters spoke to a young man. He must be in his early 20s. Gen Z, by the way, in his early 20s, spent 5 lakh rupees, got 3 phones, got 3 phones in one go, spent 5 lakh rupees. Look at those scenes, Salman.
Let me. Zaka, I'm looking.
Can I
but let me
please,
also
I
tell
have
you,
to make
Zaka,
a point,
that
Zaka.
if I show you
Okay.
800 million people on free food in one place, then you tell me what you say.
RP Singh.
That is the thing.
RP Singh, final word. I have to wrap up after this, please. Yes. Thank you.
I have to put a point across, which is a bigger point. What is happening now? This is what All India Personal Law Board, All India Muslim Personal Law Board said that they were happy with what's happened in the court, Supreme Court. And after 4 days, they changed their tone and they said, no, they will protest. Now, let me tell you what's happening.
I mean,
Take my
what are we
word, there's a
talking about and where
tangent
are
which
you
is
going?
happening inside. Give me a second, Mr. Please, I never interrupted you, sir. You
What
had your
is
full
the
time.
point?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is the
So,
I'm
point?
telling you the
let
point.
him
Hear me out.
make his
Salman,
point,
hear
please.
me
Yeah.
out.
Please,
Please
please.
hear me out.
Please. Yeah.
When Mr. Rahul Gandhi goes abroad and takes support of Elan Umar, and then meets Elan Umar. Who's Elan Umar? Who says that Kashmir should be given to Pakistan. When he goes abroad, his people who sponsor him or people who works for him in those meetings are all from one community, and they are sponsored by people who
But
have
RP साहब, उसका और young people Gen Z का क्या लेना देना है?
I'm coming to that.
What is the connection?
I'm coming to that. What happened? Give me a second. There's a connect to this. What happened in Nepal or Bangladesh? They never started with what they finally achieved there. What they turned out to be. They started with something else and then it converted to something else. This is what they are trying here also. Take my word, they are trying to build up some sort of unrest in countries by some means, whether against Waqf board or whether against some other issue, false narrative, and then club it together and then try to dislodge the democratic elected government. That's their objective.
Okay,
Otherwise,
we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you very much, RP Singh and Salman Soos, for joining us. We'll see how this plays out, whether or not there is a Gen Z sort of wake-up call as Rahul Gandhi has put out in his tweet. Of course, the Congress now clarifying that it was not some call to violence, but he believes strongly that young people will save, according to him, democracy here in India.